Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Whether we are out riding with our friends and family or racing in extreme environments, we all need good tires. That's why I recommend GBC Power Sports Tires, a division of Greenball Corp. Their products, which include XC Master, Mini Master, and Groundbuster 3, are what leading professionals in the ATV-UTV industry are using. You can get your tires at greenballtires.com or find them on Instagram as GBC Tires for further inquiries. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. Welcome to DBR Racing Products, the leader in 3D modeling and innovations. Since 2015, they have been revolutionizing the industry, starting with their groundbreaking YFZ 450R battery boxes. But they didn't stop there. They have continued to push the boundaries, constantly improving their design with each new version. In 2018, they introduced the game-changing Vortex EXO cage, specifically designed to securely hold the Vortex ECU in a safe and sturdy location. This breakthrough innovation ensures your ECU stays protected even in the toughest racing conditions. At DBR, they understand that every detail matters. That's why they also offer an array of essential products to enhance your racing experience. Their spark plug hold downs keep your engine firing at peak performance, while their LTR breather boxes ensure optimal ventilation for your machine. Their LT250 engine skid plates are a must-have for those seeking unmatched protection. Engineered to shield your engine from impacts and rough terrain, they provide the ultimate defense for your ATV. But that's not all. They've developed ProPeg mounts that allow you to use TRX 450R Nerf bars, giving you greater control and maneuverability on the track. To explore their full range of innovative products and learn more about DBR Racing, visit their website at www.dbratv.com. You can also reach them directly at 507-828-1233. Their knowledgeable team is ready to assist you with any questions or inquiries. DBR Racing Products, where innovation meets performance. Unleash the power within you. Aaron Salinas, welcome to ATV Talk. How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, thank you very much for giving us some of your time. I know you're busy with school and racing, and those are both full-time jobs.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. It's my pleasure. So I want to go back with you. I know that you've turned pro this year. You're doing what you can with school. How did you get into ATVs?
So my dad raced whenever, he was probably, I don't know, in his 20s or so. He actually built a track outside of our old house, and it just had one jump, and him and all his buddies would see how far they could jump, and that's kind of how he got into it. And then whenever I was born, I was kind of just raised around it, and I started whenever I was, I think, around 4, raced for a little bit, and then stopped for a while because I liked basketball and all the other sports. And then my dad bought me another quad. It was like a TRX 90, bored out to 125, and ever since then I've been racing ever since. Really, I've enjoyed it.
How old were you when you started racing the Nationals?
I was probably about 12, I believe, or 11. So I've been racing for 8 years, I think, 8 or 9 years on the national series.
And you've known Max and some of the other guys the whole time.
Oh yeah, I think Max was probably like one of my first like best friends and at the Nationals, really. So we've gone back a long ways since I've first started racing Nationals.
So what's it like being in the pro class now with one of your close friends?
I mean, it's pretty awesome knowing like we went through the same ranks the whole way through. He was a little bit ahead of me, like during like pro-am and those stages, but it's nice to be back racing with him again. So it's always cool racing against your buddies, but also having competition. So
Right, that's a tough class. I mean, the pro class generally is always tough, but you guys are loaded for bear.
oh yeah, I mean everyone is ridiculous right now. It's I mean the whole class is stacked. No matter where you start, you gotta try and make your way through the pack. Because if not, I mean, it's a handful the whole moto.
Are they faster than you expected?
I would say so, but I think also the longer motos is what like the big difference between pro-am and pro for sure. But
So when people told you that it was going to be a difference, did you believe them?
I mean, I knew like it was going to be a lot harder than what I had thought, but I didn't think it would be as hard as it is really with how the pace everyone's going at, you know.
It's so hard for a rider to calculate that increase in speed and what it takes for your body to go that fast for that long.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like you know, like an A class jump up to the pro sport is not too bad of a jump, but jumping from pro am to pro is like 3 different classes that you skip, really. I mean, it's a big difference, really.
Exactly. And you know what? You guys are racing for money and livelihood. So it's not like going in the first turn in the pro-am class with your buddies.
Yep.
You're going in your first turn with a guy that's trying to feed his family.
100%. Yeah. So
Yeah. Elbows
everything's on the
out.
table. Yep. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I tell a lot of people like the first lap of the pro class is like, there's nothing else that, like, there's no words to describe it. It's just an all out bad war, really. I mean, everyone's so close and so tight during that first lap. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, you got to jump from where you are and get those spots early because you may not be able to get them later in the race.
100%. Yeah.
Wow. They say you can lose the race on the first lap, but you can gain spots on the first lap too. So,
yep, that's how it works for sure.
What are you studying for education wise, or what are you going to school for?
I'm going to Texas A&M University for ag business. So this will be my 3rd year coming up in August.
How
So
old
I'm doing
are
ag. I'm 20 years old. Just turned 20.
Okay. Okay. So what do you want to do with that education?
I'm not too sure really. It's a business degree, so I can kind of go different routes if I wanted to. But
In livestock or
yeah, I mean, really the major is kind of, it's just more conceptual about like using agriculture as a, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's not really all like what you think, like livestock stuff, but I mean, it you learn about crops and stuff like that, and
Okay.
but nothing like it's more in a business like standpoint. You
Okay.
can go in sales and all that stuff. So
So are you involved in agricultural stuff, farming, ranching at all right now?
not right now, no sir. School, I mean, yeah, racing is just so like it's hard to balance both, but I do both, and it's just harder to have that extra like time to do extra school really and do internships and stuff like that with racing going on.
Are your mom and dad still involved?
Yes sir.
That's pretty good to have the backing with your family like that. Uh,
Yep.
you
Yep. If
almost
it
can't
wasn't
do it
for
without
them,
them.
yep. If it wasn't for them, wouldn't be where I am for sure.
That's pretty awesome stuff. I've seen some of the pictures of some of your machines. You got pretty good layout with some nice looking decals. Your machines look really good.
Oh yeah, SSI freaking hooked it up this year. That
Yeah.
holographic stuff came out freaking sweet.
Well, the backdrop behind me is made by them. I got
Yep.
one on the other side here that was made by them as well. Uh,
No, they help a lot of people out, and it's awesome to have them part of the
Ian is,
sport.
I think guys like Ian in our sport are amazing because they make us all look good, and we couldn't do it without them.
No, I totally agree.
That's cool. Good shout out for SSI there. Um, the one of the things I wanted to ask you about is there's been new in the news like 3-4 weeks ago, maybe less. They announced that in 2024 the pro-am is going to go to production only. Do you think that's going to benefit the class or benefit the riders going into the pro class?
Uh, in my opinion, yeah. I know there's both sides. I mean, I race a production bike, so I'm kind of more on the production side. But also for the other guys with the hybrids, I totally understand where they're coming from.
Try to
Uh,
hold that camera still, bud.
sorry about that.
It's
But
okay.
yeah, the hybrids, a lot of guys are racing those now. But I was on a production bike, so for me, I mean, I thought it was an easier jump to pro, which is what I think what they're trying to do is making an easier jump. And me riding a production bike in pro am, I did pretty well, I'd say. And so I don't see why letting go of the hybrids wouldn't allow the riders to do pretty good in the pro am class and make it a lot easier transition into the pro class.
Do you think it lessens the overall cost for the amateur rider or increases the cost?
Um, Either way, it's really going to be expensive. So, but I mean, I think the hybrid's probably a little bit more pricey for sure. But maintenance wise, maybe the product. I mean, it goes both ways, pros and cons for sure. So it's really
What do
hard
you
to
think?
say.
What do you think about the stock class?
I think that was actually a good ad back in like what was it 2 years ago that they had that. I think that was awesome, especially for like the pro guys. They could do that on Sunday for fun without not much on the line. But I have a soccer at
I
home, and
think
that was
if you
that.
could get you pro guys to ride it with the amateur guys, with the pro am guys, I think this would be a benefit for the growth of the pro class because Max, when he jumped in, he was closer to being up to speed.
No, totally. I agree.
And I think it would have benefited you last year to run it, because then it would have been a better transition for you as you rolled into to the speeds. Cause that's what Max said. I raced with those guys already. I already knew.
Yep. No, that's totally. Yeah, I totally think that would have helped out a lot. Just knowing how those guys race and kind of comparing yourself already before you actually make the jump. You know, but coming in blind is kind of hard to know how fast they really are and how they race as well, and just everything that comes into it.
Right. I think Yamaha needs to do something. I know they have no competitors, so it's futile, but I think that they should push for that because if you built in a manufacturer's cup and started, winning the manufacturer's cup, it would change the dynamics for another builder to come in and make a machine.
Yeah, totally. I think it would, I've always hoped that some other manufacturers would come in. There's always like hype and, you know, like Honda was supposed to come out with the quad, but never did. So I wish it was like back in the day how, Can-Am was involved, Kawasaki, all the big names had ATVs. I wish it was like that again. And I think adding the stock class back would definitely
I've heard
be a
rumors.
push towards it.
I've heard rumors,
I hope
and
so. I hope they're real.
I hope they are too. I mean, I've been hearing them for a year, and I've also seen in print where KTM said they are a motorcycle company. And I've seen where Honda is talking about getting rid of some of their motorcycle line. Suzuki's selling cars, little mini cars, all over the world.
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell Kawasaki's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. No, but it'd be cool to have all those guys back in the sport. I mean, it would just make racing a whole lot better. Everything really just a lot easier and better for all of us that are riding.
I'll just take one. That's okay. Just one more. That's fine.
100%.
I'd be happy with just one more. And not that I want Yamaha to lose their stranglehold on it, but just to make it more exciting for everyone.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
I would love to have a manufacturer's cup. I think it would be so great. Problem is funding. If we just get a little bit of money, Chad, Joel, and some of those other guys to come out and race for just that little bit of green, it'd be great.
Oh yeah. Maybe we need to start pushing towards something like that, right?
Right on, right on.
Yep.
What's out of all the years you go to the Nationals, what's your favorite place to go race?
My favorite place used to be Millville, Minnesota, Spring Creek. I always had good luck there somehow, but it was always super rough there for me. Sand track, so it was always super rough, but I somehow got my first 90 open win there. So that was cool. Super mini win. Every time I win there, I got a podium or a win. So that was pretty awesome. I love that track for sure.
So if you're not going there, where do you like?
Last year Briarcliff actually was treating me well, so I would take Briarcliff probably.
How did you do at Briarcliff last year?
Last year I won both Pro-Am and Pro Sport.
Oh yeah, that is a good day.
Yeah, so I'll take Briarcliff. That was probably my best race of the year.
And they've changed the track slightly. So have you got to ride Briarcliff since then?
Yes, sir. We just went out this past weekend. It was me. There was a lot of guys out there actually that had an open ride. It was me, Jeffrey Estrelli, Max Lindquist, Logan Stanfield, Adam Ulrich, a lot of big guys out there. So we all motoed together. So that was pretty cool. Kind of.
How do you like practicing with the guys that you race with?
I think it actually makes you faster, really. Having someone there to push you and be there to kind of grind it out with you, not doing it by yourself. Back home, I'm staying at Stanfield's place right here in Indiana. So we went up to the Ohio area this past weekend. We've been riding together, and but back home there's nowhere. There's one place for me to ride and no one to ride with. So definitely makes it a lot better whenever you're riding with someone.
Well, when I was out in Texas earlier this year, your trailer was out there.
Yes, sir. So home is about 5.5 hours from there. So in the summer I can't really ride there. But yeah, in the off season I only live about an hour away in College Station. So I was over there training with Max Lindquist and Jaden Launderville. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we missed each other because you had to go back home or you had to go somewhere, I think school, when we were out there that week or weekend.
Yes, sir.
Or whatever.
Yes, sir. I had school while you guys were doing the shoot, so I wasn't able to make it. But
right.
Yeah, we were there for probably 2 months riding together. So that was pretty cool. I'd go back and forth from school in Splendora.
That's pretty awesome. I liked that place. I really did. I thought that was a pretty bitchin' place.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It's an awesome place. D Manchek. He's had it for a while, and that's kind of like the first local track that I grew up racing in the Houston area. So I've been riding there for a while.
I'd like to got to talk to him, but we didn't. He never came out to the track. There was a train derailment and shipping issues, and yeah, if you could have planned a negative, you couldn't have planned what happened to us that week.
Oh
It
god.
was it was crazy. A little bit of rain, the train derailment, no gear, some pipes didn't show up, motor this, it was just one thing after another, and we got it all in, and we got it put together, and I was pretty proud of the way that video came out.
No, yeah, that video came out awesome. That was pretty neat project that you guys had. That's for sure.
And then it's still getting shares, and it's still getting views. It's hard for us to track it once it leaves us. So when somebody shares it, it's hard for us to track, but the views on our site we can still track, and it's still climbing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great for that team. I think it's great for the sport. I'm hoping that it will turn more teams into making videos, or more riders into making promo videos for themselves. They're expensive, and there's a lot of work in them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Look at all the stuff that Gloop does. That guy, uh, I don't know if he ever sleeps. He must have that superhuman gene that Joel and Chad have, because that guy's always putting stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome though. You guys promoting the sport is what kind of keeps it alive. So as long as you guys keep doing that, I mean, it's looking good. So appreciate you guys on that.
We're just, I love the ATV sport, and having your story come out of your words is way better than me writing something or trying to repeat what you say. Dude, it's just, you're telling everybody what you do.
Yep, just having a normal conversation. So that's awesome.
Exactly. And plus, there's fans out there that don't know what you go to school for, or didn't know that you went to a great school like Texas A&M.
Sure. Yep, it's a hard juggle, but I get it done somehow. So it's been working out.
There's quite a few young people out there, doing that with school. I know Neve Shaw is going to school and racing, and it's tough.
No, yeah, for sure. Especially at the level we're racing at. So, but it's been good. Otherwise, still able to train and kind of work my schedule around it. So, but yeah, we were out training in Splendora. It was good.
Let's talk about that. How is your training set up? I mean, I know preseason stuff is different than during the season, but what are you doing right now?
Really, right now I try and ride, probably like at least 5. Well, with the 3-week break right now, I've ridden probably 5-6 times so far, maybe a little bit more, and hopefully try and ride Tuesday, Wednesday, and be done. Maybe even Saturday, which is tomorrow. But yeah, I just try and ride maybe. Usually it's a 2-week break, so I try and ride at least 4 or 5 times. And off the bike, I do a lot of running and biking. So Brandon Hogue helps me out actually. So I do his stuff, and it works pretty good.
Who doesn't Brandon Hogue help?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So I get to see the Instagram videos of him training on some of the stuff that he does. So do you monitor the things that you're supposed to monitor? Because I don't totally understand all of it. It goes over my head a little bit. Are you monitoring everything, or does he monitor it for you?
I mean, he pretty much structures it all, and kind of he monitors most of it. I just got to be held accountable and do it. So, but if I don't do it, he's never happy. So I definitely make sure to do it.
That's pretty cool that he has enough time to monitor you, monitor himself, train, and then monitor all the other guys that he's on.
No, yeah, it's freaking awesome that he does that. But I mean, we're pretty good friends, so we talk pretty normally, and yeah, he's been a great help. to my season.
What do you eat? I mean, as far as, do you pick out specific foods? Have you got into the, checking your blood and figuring out what foods you should eat or shouldn't eat?
Nothing too crazy, but I try and stay away from fried stuff, more like grilled chicken and stuff like that. But for me, I actually have to eat a lot. I'm kind of small. It doesn't look like I eat a lot, but I eat a ton throughout the day. And I mean, really just nothing that's fried, more grilled on the grilled side, steaks. I mean, just nothing that's terrible for you, greasy, none of that.
So we're not going to have a greasy hamburger down at Five Guys.
No, not unless it's off season.
Man, you guys are dedicated. So you said you're not a big guy. How big are you?
I'm about 140 pounds, 5'8", maybe 5'7".
Dude, that's pretty thin for a guy that tall.
Yeah, I think I'm 5'7". That's not that tall.
So do you do any weight training in the preseason?
Yeah, in the preseason. So usually, all off season from August to December, I try and lift weights, and then come January, I do a lot of endurance training, really, and riding the bike.
Endurance training, as far as, what do you consider endurance training, if you want to elaborate into that?
More like bike rides and stuff like that. So longer rides. It depends. Some days, like I said, Brandon helps me out. So some days it'll be an hour road bike that's kind of light and easy, or 2 hour road bike that's light and easy. Or sometimes we'll do like intensity day. So that'll be intervals, get the heart rate spiked up pretty high for a certain amount of minutes, and it's kind of all structured. So it helps out a lot. That's for sure.
Do you train with a heart monitor or like a smart watch that keeps track of your heart rate?
Yep, that's what we go based off of, pretty much, is heart rate. So I use a heart rate monitor and a watch, and that's kind of how I track everything while I'm working out.
I do a little bit of training myself, even though I'm fat and old. And my guy that I work out with all the time is asking me my heart rate. And there's days when with the exercises, my heart rate, stays at that level deal. And we just moved locations, and now it's I would say more intense. We're moving more, so my heart rate's not coming down, and my heart rate is higher probably than a lot of people would say a guy my age should run it for a workout.
Mm-hmm.
But I train with guys your age and they can't keep up, so I guess I'm doing something right.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. That's awesome.
I've gotten to train with some guys that raced on the West Coast. The Fuller boys raced, and a couple other guys were racers in different series in Southern California. And I liked it because it just made me have to work that much harder.
No, yeah, it's definitely not, like I said, it's definitely nice having someone to kind of go through the grind with you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not going to go ride like you do. My arm seems to be getting better with the training that I'm doing, so I may try to do a little bit of riding. We'll see how that works out and see what my wife says about it. If she says yes, then yes, we'll do that.
Yep, you got to ask the boss first.
Well, I mean, yeah, you do, because if you get hurt, then there's no money.
Yep, exactly. Oh yeah.
You know the drill, right?
Yes, sir.
So if we're not training and we're not riding our ATV and we're not doing schoolwork, what do you do to blow off steam or to have fun, to get yourself, get your mind somewhere else?
I like golfing a lot, actually. I played in high school, all throughout high school, so I do that pretty often. I go with my dad sometimes. He plays all the time, really. So I'll do that. I mean, other than that, just kind of hang out with friends, hang out with my girlfriend, family. So that's about it, really.
How do you keep a relationship alive with all the things that you're doing?
It's pretty hard, but luckily I have a supportive girlfriend that, helps out with that. Makes it a lot easier, that's for sure.
Is she go to the races with you, and is she in school as well?
Yeah, so she goes to A&M as well, and she goes to some of the races. She's been to Daytona, Texas, and then she's coming to Briarcliff. So she tries to go do as much as she can, but not always. Not every race works out. So, but
Yeah,
no, it's definitely nice.
I'm bummed we didn't get to go to Briarcliff this year.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Could have done another interview again at the golf course. That was awesome last year.
Yeah, I wanted to do more. It's just we're working on it. We're working on getting mobile. Some things are trying to happen behind the scenes, just like it's just like running a race program.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, we're still relatively young. We're 3 years old, and we're figuring the ropes out of how to do some of this stuff and make it gosh, I don't even know how to phrase it, because we're not changing directions. I don't want to change directions. But we've grown to do things where it's just like the promotion for you now. Valeria is going to be mad at me for saying it. Instead of doing multiple episodes a week, it's when your episode comes up and it's your week.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's all about you for a week. And you know, from your audio podcast that comes out, the live on Instagram that we do, then the YouTube drop where we YouTube drop the photos and our show here, and then there's a social media deal that we lay out for you. That all of that came from all of the stuff that we did in the beginning, learning, you know. So I feel a transition coming where we're going to do something different again. So I don't know exactly what that's going to be, but the girls behind the scenes that really run the show, they'll tell me.
Yeah. Well, whatever you're doing, it's working. So.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yep.
You know, my daughter's Paula, who went to college in Guadalajara for social media advertising, and Valeria, who is went to school for computers and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, they're pulling all the strings. I just get to have the conversations and talk about ATVs, which to me, that's great. I mean, that's the best part.
The easiest part, they get all the behind the scenes work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who does most of the work on your machine?
So my dad helps out with machine, and then Joe Messina, he's one of my dad's friends from local race. He's my mechanic this year. But behind the scenes, like between the races, Tim Dentling does it. So I'm under the TDR tent, and I've been under there for probably about 3 or 4 years now, and it's been great ever since. Yeah, so I love Tim to death. So he's helped me out so much.
I hear that he does a good job.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's a great dude, and he helps everyone out at the track. So
that's good. That's good to have a guy like that.
Oh yeah, it says a lot about him. That's for sure.
Right. You know, we briefly talked about Daytona when you came on the pre-race report with Max.
Yes, sir.
What were you thinking when you rolled into Daytona based on what happened last year versus what happened this year?
So that was actually my first time ever racing there. I wasn't able to make it my pro-am year just because of school. It was still during school time. But this year rolled around, and I was actually pretty excited. We came out in qualifying, I think 10th. I think I ended up 10th in qualifying or 11th. So I thought that was actually great. And then heat race, I was in 5th, I believe, made a big mistake, and then ended up 7th in the heat race. So which is not bad. But the main event came around, and I took a pretty hard tumble on the first lap, and that kind of ruined my day. That's for sure. But coming into Daytona, I mean, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew everyone was going to be fast, but I didn't think that they were going to be that fast. That's for sure.
Yeah. And that was a technical track too, right?
100%. Yeah, it was stop and go. I mean, it wore you out. That's for sure.
When you got off and it hurt your day, did you continue riding or did you pull off?
Yeah, I finished the moto. I just my bars were bent. I think the A arm was bent, or the tie rod was bent actually. So I kind of just had to roll around for points and salvage the day.
The rookies that at that race had some issues.
Oh yeah, all of us, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad for all of you guys because I was watching some of the things that went on and looking at the pictures and I was like, ouch, there went another one, and it was a rough day.
Yep, it was like another one bites the dust.
When you race and you've been in these downpour races, because there's been a couple mud ones this year, what do you think about that? And how do you prepare your mind for that?
Really, I mean, you kind of don't really want to prepare for it, but whenever you do, you kind of just got to go for it because that's your chance to do something really really big. Just like Cody Ford getting third this past at Pleasure Valley, that was pretty awesome to see. Kind of I battle with him, so I mean, it's a possibility for me to do that one weekend in the mutter. So I mean, it opens up your possibilities and chances, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, have you done a lot of mud riding and do you like riding in the mud?
I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, I've I've done decent in the mud all throughout my racing career. But yeah, I mean, like on Saturday at Pleasure Valley, the first moto, whenever that storm came through, I've never been in anything that bad where, I mean, you're running through puddles. I mean, 3 foot puddles. I've never done anything like that, but usually like second moto was a normal mud race where it's pretty muddy, but not standing water everywhere. So the first moto was an experience for me, but yeah, my bike shut off. I had to flip it upside down and get the water out of it, and then push start it down a hill and get back going. And
Did you swap a motor in between like everybody else?
no, we kept me and Logan. I think a few other people might have left the motor in if it still ran, just because the second one was a mutter and it could have blown. We could have gone through 2 motors that weekend, so couldn't really do that. But it worked out. It ended up working out, luckily.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Yamaha motor is pretty darn durable. I mean, and one of the other shows I was talking about some of the things that I have seen transfer through them and it keep running.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw that first moto at Pleasure Valley, I'm sure it'd say a lot about the motor.
I don't remember what I was doing, but I looked, because I scrolled through and I'm looking at, beautiful racetrack, awesome. I got to talk to Leon the day before and I'm thinking, that's going to be a great place to race. That looks like an awesome track. And the information I was getting didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it went from 100 real like very quickly. It was crazy.
Well, there was no photos, and they didn't say that it was downpouring. It was
Yeah,
only talking about position transition.
yeah, and I'm sure the positions were going crazy. Everyone was flipping positions left and right.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I expected Joel, Chad, the normal deal, and it wasn't. And then when I get the finish, and it's Bryce, Joel, Cody, and I'm like, what the hell happened here? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe that was a qualifier. Maybe they had to qualify, and that was just a qualify race. And maybe Joel tried a line and it didn't work or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just a fluke. And it turns out it was Moto 1, and I'm like, holy crap.
yeah. It was a wild experience. Like I said, I've never had a mud race like that where it downpours and you're rolling through. I mean, a ton of water. Like I was getting splashed everywhere. The rain was coming down hard. You're cold after the moto. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had to go do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I've asked this question a lot. Do you do anything special for goggle preparation? Like is there a trick to making it so that you don't have to lose your goggles?
I didn't really. Well, first moto, I don't think any of us were expecting it, so that kind of went out the window. That's for sure. But second moto, I mean, I think I packed on 2 packs of tear offs, the laminated ones. So I think that's 24. But I mean, they went within halfway through the race because every time you came around a corner, you would get roosted. I mean, you had to pull a tear off. You couldn't see nothing. It was black. So
Wow.
I've tried to double goggle it, but it didn't work great whenever I did try. I think that was maybe 2 years ago in A class.
What about roll-offs? Because the Woods guys use a roll-off system.
Yeah, I've always had problems with the roll offs. The roll comes out while I'm riding, and it doesn't end up working. So I've never really done roll offs just because of that reason. I have a better chance with tear offs. So
Have you ever raced anything besides motocross?
I have not. Just
Really?
motocross. Yep.
Are you going to? Well, how should I transition this question? Do you have your sights on possibly doing some XC or anything else like that?
I've actually done a local cross country race. I've done 2 of them, I think, and they're pretty fun. But the first one I did, I actually did bend a frame on my brand new stalker that I just got. So woods aren't really for me. I tend to find the trees.
You're probably trying to go too fast.
Yeah, no kidding.
Were they super tight technical stuff like the Nationals, or just random for your local area?
Yeah, kind of random. The one that I did, it was pretty tight through the trees. But I've never been to a national cross country, so I couldn't know how to compare it.
Oh, dude, you got to go try one.
I know I need to. I have a stalker, so I need to get to it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, go out there and have some fun and play with those guys. They from the information I get from most of them, it's not about horsepower. It's just about being able to navigate through the trees.
Yeah, I know Max has done a few, and he says he enjoys it. So maybe I'll have to check one out with him.
Max is just one of those unique individuals that he just loves to ride. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you get a guy like Walker Fowler who I think the guy just wants to ride his ATV and doesn't care.
Yep. That's what it's all about. It's all about fun. So,
I was always the race orientated rider, didn't really care about going and trail riding. I want to go race.
Yeah.
I hated practice.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
hated training really, but I did it.
Part of it.
I didn't start training for riding until I was already gray. Yeah, trust me. I raced in the desert with my nephew, and we were both very large individuals, and probably should not have been racing at that level, that size.
No, yeah, people don't realize how tough, and physically demanding this sport is. It's pretty tough on your body, that's for sure. It'll take a toll.
I think that the system that Brandon has you on, and some of the other stuff that's going on in the athletics that are trickling down to athletes like you, I think it's prolonging your career and helping your body when you transition into after racing life.
No, yeah, 100%. Otherwise, you're kind of just hanging on.
Well, our era, we didn't go to the doctor when we hit our head on the ground.
Yeah. No, it definitely is different than what it used to be, that's for sure.
I remember, put some tape on it, you'll be fine. Just let's go.
Yep.
Well, I see 3 tracks. Well, ride the one in the middle.
Yep.
It worked out.
Like they say, they don't make them like they used to.
I just think that I don't agree with sitting out all the time, but I do agree with increasing your career by, like some of the shoulder injuries, some of the guys I've talked to, Jacob Stevens, Logan Huff, There's a couple other guys. I agree with how they explain the medical system has told them how to make their injury get better faster by not doing anything.
No, yeah, it makes sense for sure. Recovery is the number one thing.
Yeah, and
you don't let it recover, I mean, you're never gonna be 100%.
well, I dislocated my shoulder in 2004. And in 2014, I couldn't handle the pain any longer, and I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And when they told me that I had dislocated it and broke it, I argued with them. How do you break your shoulder and ride? You can't do that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
2 weeks after I did it, I was in France racing Pont-Neuf.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it popped back in and it worked. I mean,
Yeah.
now I'm wish to God I would have went to the doctor, but
Yeah. You still feel it now, or
my arm doesn't straighten,
that's not good?
and I could pop it in and out at will. Which it's painful, so I try not to do it.
Yeah.
But I still train heavy with heavy weights or heavier weights, not as heavy as I would like to, but I can still move around a little bit. I can't ride the same though.
Yeah. No, I bet it limits a few things for sure. I had surgery on my collarbone because it was broken pretty badly 2 years ago. So I had to let that recover and then get back to riding. But it's working out fine so far.
Well, there's all kinds of different medical procedures they put you through. Like, go see a doc that does laser on me, which helps immensely. I mean, I don't exactly understand how it works, but hey,
As long as it makes you feel better, right?
exactly. What are some of your goals for ATV racing?
Really right now, my goals for the year was top 10 in the pro class, and moving forward, like this year was really, I mean, I learned so much this year already, and it's not even over yet, but coming into next year, I guess goals for the year would be top 10 for sure, and just keep moving through the rankings, really kind of getting better each race and really making a impact in a way on racing, kind of in some
As
way.
far as that goes, so longevity of racing career, you're looking 3 to 5 years down the road,
Yeah,
or
hope as long as I'm willing to, as long as I'm 100% and nothing really gets like financially, hopefully we can make it another. I mean, as of right now, I want to do it for the till I'm 40. So, but
well, on the West Coast, the guy that's won the last 11, well, 10, he's going to win his 11th works title. Bo Barron is, going to be 43.
yeah, I mean,
and Doug Eicher.
Once it's in your blood, it's kind of hard for it to go away. That's why I'm saying. I mean, no matter what I say, I'll always want to do it. That's for sure.
Well, Doug Eichner was almost 50 when he retired from the pro class.
Yep.
So if you can have a healthy body and, ride, you could prolong your career, maybe not in the pro class, but you could prolong your racing career to last,
Yep, I agree. I would definitely. My dad did it till he won a 40 plus championship a few years ago at the Nationals. So if I could do it whenever I'm 40, that'd be awesome. So
I won the 30A Nationals, the off-road Nationals, when I was 39.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I quit points racing because it just was too hard to be a mechanic and building machines and working a full-time job and then racing myself. I couldn't do it, and I couldn't do all of it anymore.
That's why my dad had to step away. He was mechanicking, he was doing it all. He was mechanicking, racing, working, and it just takes a big toll, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he doesn't want to admit it, but it's because I also got faster than him. I mean, he couldn't beat me. So
And he's going to listen to this, right? You know that.
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm throwing it out there.
Okay. Is your mom going to have to step in and defend you?
Nah, it's not. Hopefully not, right?
I like that. Hopefully. Well, now that you mention it, maybe. Oh, that's so awesome. It's good that you have a family that's so into it like that, because, our pops is the guy that started the company that we work for, or that we are involved in, and racing is in his blood. So we raced, and it's awesome when your family's in.
No, yeah, it's a passion that you guys share together. So it's it it's fun having your family there for you, and spending the road trips together. Especially us, we live so far away. Every drive's over almost 20 hours, just about. So we spend a lot of the time in the car together. And
And but that's really quality. Most, if you don't have your earbuds in, and you're engaging in conversation, that's great, because they know where you're at, you know where they're at, and everybody's growing together, and keeping the family fire going.
oh yeah, and it's just making memories. So
Ex-
wouldn't want to do it, but that's for sure.
exactly, exactly. When I was traveling on the road, I was by myself most of the time.
Yep.
It's not as much fun.
Yep.
Not as
So
much
I'm
fun.
I'm definitely thankful and grateful.
Exactly.